Coronavirus outbreak slashes China carbon emissions. Study: China's carbon emissions have dropped by at least 100 million metric tons over the past 2 weeks, according to a study, that is nearly 6% of global emissions during the same period last year.
Here's a summary of the article.
China's carbon emissions have dropped by at least 100 million metric tons over the past 2 weeks, according to a study published on Wednesday by the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air in Finland. The rapid spread of the novel coronavirus, which has killed over 2,000 and infected more than 74,000 people across China, has led to a drop in demand for coal and oil, resulting in the emissions slump, the study published on the British-based Carbon Brief website said. Over the past 2 weeks, daily power generation at coal power plants was at a 4-year low compared with the same period last year, while steel production has sunk to a 5-year low, researchers found. Economic activity in China usually picks up after the Lunar New Year holiday, which began on January 25. This is likely to have wiped out a quarter or more of the country's CO2 emissions over the past 2 weeks, the period when activity would normally have resumed after the Chinese New Year holiday. After the coronavirus calms down, it is quite likely we will observe a round of so-called retaliatory pollutions, factories maximizing production to compensate for their losses during the shutdown period, said Li Shuo, a policy advisor for Greenpeace China. China's nitrogen dioxide emissions, a byproduct of fossil fuel combustion in vehicles and power plants, fell 36% in the week following the Lunar New Year holidays, compared with the same period a year earlier, according to another study by CRE that used satellite data.
This post received a score of 17,377, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
I was reading an article last week on why death cases seems to be higher in Wuhan and Hubei province than other areas, and the doctor or scientist says it has to do with the fact that it's winter there and the pollution is higher, and those who have lived there for a long time or their whole lives have a weakened immune system due to the pollution.
Any chance you have the article at hand?
I think it's this article.
Maybe post this article on its own? Seems pretty relevant. It is dated February 7, 2020, so it's still a current event.
With the pace of the 2020 world, that's basically ancient history, lol.
I hadn't considered that, and now that I have, I don't disagree.
You know, if you're about to tell me to look on the bright side, I'm about to hit you in the head with a peanut butter sandwich.
Well, I am hungry.
Skies are definitely bluer and clearer in Hong Kong than they have been in a long time.
The sky will never be blue until Hong Kong is free.
For the Republic.
Another day in the Grand Army of the Republic. You see the new T-13s they are about to come out with. Finally gonna retire the T-11s.
Cutting our total levels of production is what is needed to combat climate change. It would also mean us doing less work. Unfortunately, we have an economic system that can't tolerate reductions in levels of economic activity and in fact demands perpetual increases. Tar for the silver.
The world's economies and governments are so leveraged on debt spending, that they have to maintain growth projections just to stay solvent.
People are leveraged, too. It's basically impossible to enjoy things like housing or vehicles without being leveraged to some extent.
You can definitely buy a vehicle without being leveraged. That's a choice people make because they think they need an F-150.
90% of new car purchases are financed. A majority of used car purchases are financed. If people didn't buy new F-150s, there would be no used ones to purchase down the line.
Sure, but are they financing because they can't buy in cash or because the APR is so low it makes economic sense? I have always financed because APR on car loans is always lower than mortgage or what I think I can get in the stock market.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Coronavirus, well, maybe I don't want to be the bad guy anymore.
Disease will be the ultimate solution to pollution, just give it time.
Historically, yes, disease always came through for us when numbers got too high.
Ecology can be beautiful microbe dizzy face 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 dizzy face.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.